There is literally nothing in here under 3.
Greetings, Groovers. How are you doing? Welcome to Full Record Jacket with Phil and Ben. It's the random edition where I have no idea what we're going to talk about, but no doubt some waffling will be done.
I thought we'd talk about how I managed to still get one of Gary Barlow's jumpers.
How have you managed to get that?
Well, the Barlow lives a couple of doors down from me, and the other week he'd gone out shopping because he loves a little bit of Lidl. He's got his Lidl Plus card. He went off there, and he, as he went out, he left his front door open, so I snuck inside. He has got a wardrobe about 13 foot long, sliding doors, and it's just full of jumpers like this. So I thought, well, he won't miss one, will he? So I took the jumper and had it for a couple of weeks, and then he came knocking at my door, and he was like, "Oh, have you been in my house?" I was like, "No," and he was like, "I think you have. I want my jumper." And when I haven't got your jumper, he said, "I want my jumper. I want it back for good." Hey! And I was like, "You can't have it, Gary. Go get another one. Go on, away with you. I want it back. I want it back for good."
That was
I've been reading Mojo, Phil.
Is that the new one?
But this isn't the new one, because I think the new one is this one, February 2. It's in the future, yes. February 26th.
Yeah.
But I've been reading this one, and I was having a flick through today because I hadn't really read through this one, and I saw an interesting bit in here about. I said, if you can answer this question: which LP has been released in the most variant issues?
That's a good question.
It is a good question.
The most variant issues on an LP. When I say variant issues, I don't just mean a new pressing and it's different slightly to the previous pressing because it's got different numbers on it and stuff like that.
They mean sort of like bootleg picture discs, CDs, cassettes.
Is it a recent one or is it an old one?
Old one.
The most variants of an album being reissued. I'm trying to think who it could be. So it's not something like Taylor Swift or something like that. It's something old.
No. So it recently had a anniversary, I think. At least in the last couple of years, anyway. A big anniversary. Might have been the Big 5-0, I think.
Is it the Dark Side of the Moon?
It is the Dark Side of the Moon, with a staggering 1,450 and counting international versions currently on Discogs.com, with 303 unofficial releases. Sgt. Pepper weighs in with 1,285 and only 168 bootlegs. We must admit to an irrational urge to own a Taiwanese knockoff of Sgt. Pepper's. The first Led Zeppelin album registers a cool 892 versions, with 152 bogus pressings, and the Stones boast 594 different editions for Sticky Fingers, which that's just mad. But no, I was going through magazine, and Mojo seems to be, unless I'm wrong, the only one you can still really get in a physical copy, because obviously the NME is no more, Q is no more, and I think they're online, aren't they? But you can't. I don't think you can get a physical copy of them anymore.
No, can you still get uncut?
I'm not sure. I don't know. Can you? I think you might be able to. I mean, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but Mojo does seem to be the only one that I ever seem to see. And no, I was just having a flick through because it just made me, looking at gigs. I don't know why I like looking at gig dates. And then it makes you realise how long certain albums have been out, because Happy Mondays, Pills, Thrills and Belly Aches, how many years? They're celebrating so many years of it.
35 years, is it?
It is 35 years. Now, Sean Ryder's going to be very busy, because not only is he touring the 35-year anniversary of this album, but he's also touring, now this is the one that got me, he's also touring the 30th anniversary of the debut Black Grape album. That
Okay.
is absolutely bonkers. But yeah, it just made me think about the sort of the magazines that have been and gone, and then it got me thinking about reviews. Now I've noticed with Mojo, very few albums, and I haven't seen any for the last couple of months, ever get rated lower than a 3-star. Now, whether they're being selective on the albums that they're reviewing, because there's a distinct lack of sort of what you class as black pop sort of stuff, it all seems to be of a certain.
Yeah.
And then it made me think how a review, and it's the same for everything, I suppose. It's the same for theatre and all these. How now that one review now for Mojo will stick with that album for all time. The same with Pitchfork and all this. One person's view on that album, and it could be like me. We discussed in the last video about listening to Staconia by Outkast. I didn't listen to it at the right time. I was driving home. I could have done with silence, and I put it on. How many external factors are influencing, and how many times are they listening to the album to give it a full
Well,
sort of, you know?
this is it. I mean, I, on the one hand, they're not having enough time for it to sink in sometimes, are they? So
No,
that's something that can count against it. There's also the fact, obviously, that it's just one person's opinion. There's also the fact that, yeah, they might not be in the mood for listening to it. Imagine if it's your job to keep on reviewing all these albums all the time. You're not always going to be in the mood for listening to these things, are
no,
you?
no.
So I do think that often does affect, particularly these bad reviews. And then, it can be quite unfair because quite often when you're a fan of the artist, obviously you're going to be paying full attention and being open-minded to it. And you might discover that you think it's great. And then it's been stuck with this review that someone wrote after hearing it once,
Yeah.
half hearing it. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be very fair. If you look up these albums now on Wikipedia, you can still read what was written about them when they came out.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And some albums get really poorly reviewed, but when
Yeah,
you listen to them, you're like, I'm not hearing what they've, and everything's subjective, isn't it? Because we all hear things differently. But unless their thing is, I'll sit down, I listen to it once, and it's my first initial impact of it. Because I mean, look at Be Here Now when that came out, 5-star reviews everywhere, and then one person said, "Oh, this isn't as good," and then everybody started retrospectively saying, "Oh no, it's rubbish." So
well,
that says to me that
we've
reviews don't really mean anything because you could listen to them on another day, 2 years later, and your taste may then be altered.
well, yeah, with Be Here Now, of course, it was hyped up. It was made into the most successful album of was it the decade? It was the biggest selling
Yeah,
or something
yeah,
like that. So it was huge. And so because everybody has sort of, who had any kind of stake in it, had played a role in making it so huge, they then thought, oh, we've made it the hugest thing ever. It's now time to knock them down. So
yeah,
then,
yeah,
but instead of waiting for the next album to slag them off, they decided to just start slagging off the album that they previously said was was great.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that was a
and
bit of a different way to approach it, wasn't it?
yeah,
But yeah, obviously there have been a number of albums that have been not particularly warmly received at the time, and they're now put on these lists as classics.
like Exile
That
on Main Street.
was one of them, and I think there were some negative reviews of Marvin Gaye, What's Going On, when it came out. I don't think it was universally raved over.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of some other major albums which didn't get raved over at the time of release. Of course, there's the slow burn ones like Television and Velvet Underground and these
yeah,
ones that are sort of become more and more influential over time. And I'm sure that a lot of these major artists have got ones in their canon, haven't they, where they were slagged off when they came out
yeah.
because it had become time to start slagging that legendary artist off
Well, I
at that
don't. Was
point.
Nebraska by Bruce Springsteen? That wasn't particularly warmly received, was it
No,
at
it
the
wasn't
time?
hugely successful in
And
sales
now
either.
it's got a 4 or 5 page spread in Mojo magazine. It's had
For
its
the whole box set and
anniversary.
everything,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So it's amazing how these sort of things can sort of you know turn around. It just amazed me that a review sort of can. It's the same with anything, though, isn't it? These things stick, and it just it makes me wonder what their process is for reviewing an album, whether they just have it on out for a walk, or, or what. But I do kind of miss. I mean, Q was always my magazine of choice. I always liked Q. But yeah, Mojo seems to be the only one that has a physical copy. Whenever I order it now, direct from Mojo, and I do quite like. I don't think I could sit through. I don't even think I did it back then. I always find music magazines sort of you kind of pick them up and flick, and then I don't think I ever sit down and read it like cover to cover. I'll have a flick through, check the review.
Is it a bit like being in the waiting room at the doctor's or something?
Yes, yeah, very much like that. Yeah. So it's a but yeah, I mean, I was having a look at some of the like I said earlier, some of the reviews in it. There isn't, and I've just checked another magazine from it, and it doesn't. There's nothing in here that is under 3 stars. So, which makes me wonder.
Is that just because they all picked to review albums by acts that they quite liked
I
anyway?
think,
So
yeah, that's what I'm wondering. And
they just cut all the dross out, didn't they? Because they didn't want to.
Yeah. Oh, there is a reissue, filter reissue review of What's the Story, Morning Glory, and it gets 4 stars.
Okay.
It says here, Britpop's biggest selling album, now with remixed acoustic versions for its 30th anniversary. Do you want me to quickly read through what it says?
I didn't know they'd done remixed acoustic versions.
Yes, yeah, they have. Yeah.
Was that of all the songs, or just some? Of them?
No, there's a few at the end on side D.
Right.
It says here the fact that no fewer than 8 of Morning Glory's 10 songs, which is what you forget. There's only 10 tracks on it, and 2 at the end. Featuring Oasis reunion live set amply demonstrates how significant their 22 million album selling so far second album is to their career. The expanded 2014 reissue offered far more goodies than this new package. However, with early demos of She's Electric and Rocking Chair recorded at Soundman's Mark Coyle's home, soundcheck run-throughs, live tracks and B-sides, instead, the law is 5 new acoustic remixes, reworked from the original masters by Noel at his Lone Star studio. Engineer Callum Marino, it would be an enjoyable pointless exercise were it not for the emphasis it draws to the Gallaghers, more present, less treated vocals. Nate chilling when they gustily harmonise on Cast No Shadow and Acquiesce, propelled by the acoustic guitar and percussion. Only Morning Glory feels like an unbalanced bongo fest, while Wonderwall and Champagne Supernova are indestructible. So, but yeah, there we go. Black Grape, 30-year anniversary. The Fratellis, I mean, they're over 20 years old, and it's just, yeah, I just wanted to highlight music magazines to people, really. Just sort of, people should go and buy them.
Are people still buying? I mean, Mojo does seem to keep going. Is it?
It does, yeah. Where others have faltered.
Is it solidly going, or is it at risk? I don't know.
I don't know. But you can go on there and you can buy an online copy. But the online copy costs almost as much as the physical copy. And I'm kind of like, well, I'd rather have the physical copy.
Here's one.
Oh, yeah, there we go. I think I've got that one. So.
2004, this was.
Oh, yeah.
So this is over 20 years ago. I kept a lot of these. They were often criticised. I remember reading an interview with one of the editors, and people said, "Oh, why do you keep putting the Beatles on the front?" And he said, "Because we sell lots more copies when we put the Beatles on the front."
Yeah.
So that's why.
I think I remember looking at a picture of Q magazine, and it had a load of their back issues on, and into like whenever the picture I looked at was, the 2 bands that had been on the cover or artists from that band was the Beatles and Oasis over this sort of 10-year span.
Right.
So and they want to sell copies, don't they? Because they know all the Beatles fans will go out and buy it, even though they've read everything what's in it 200 times before. There we go.
It doesn't continue onto the back, by the way. Not
See, that would have been a
on the
nice touch, though, wouldn't it, if it did?
Maybe it continues in.
Does it go on
hang
the
on.
inside?
It goes on the inside.
Oh, they.
Hang on.
See, that's nice. Yeah, I like things like that. Yeah, I like that. I wonder if that Volkswagen Beetle's still in.
We've all seen that before.
Yeah, we have. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that from the final photo shoot, wasn't it?
I think so. The one at the house, was it?
If
At
you
John
own
Lennor's
that
house?
Volkswagen Beetle still, that must be worth a fortune.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they still never found the girl in the blue dress from the back cover. Still never found her.
Yeah. That's a It's actually funny you bring that, because that was actually on something I was reading the other day, that they've never found the girl in the blue. You would have thought she would have wanted to come forward. Maybe she doesn't want the fame.
Or she doesn't know.
Or maybe she doesn't know. If that was today,
yeah,
she would have been on chat shows. She would have been in Celebrity Get Me Out the Jungle. She would have been on everything.
Yeah.
Wouldn't she? Just from being on an album cover like that, an iconic album cover. But yeah, no, I do miss the sort of, because I used to collect them all. I always found Mojo was a little bit probably higher brow than my low brow sort of thing he was, but I definitely used to buy Select. Remember Select?
Yes.
So I used to buy Select and Q magazine. They were the sort of two, and I do still have a lot of them dating back to the 90s, especially if they've got like the Beatles, Oasis, or the Stones on the front cover. So I do still have a lot of them. And in fact, down here, I've shown it you before, but I don't know if you can see it. There he is. That is an inflatable Liam Gallagher from a 1996 Select magazine.
Okay.
And I've still got one on a copy up in the loft, an original one. And they did 4 of these inflatables, because they did Liam, Damon, Jarvis Cocker, and I think it was Justin Frischman from
Brett
Plastic Guy.
Anderson?
No, I think it was Justine Frischman. I'm sure it was. And I have tried finding. I would like to have all 4, but they can't seem to find them, Phil. You know, people's lofts somewhere have got a lot of inflatable Liam Gallaghers and Jarvis Cockers.
I didn't know about those.
Oh, did you not?
It's a 90s memory that's passed me by.
Oh, you were probably buying Mojo, weren't you?
Possibly, yeah. Wasn't Select? Yeah. Select was very much for the current stuff, wasn't it? Really, that was what was the latest cool thing.
Yeah,
Mojo was for all the old, boring old people like me.
Yeah, Mojo seems to be a bit more reflective, doesn't it? It's about that. It sort of retrospectively looks at things that had been and gone by, whereas Select and Q were more about what was happening now. I'm just trying to see if I can find Select magazine. Do you know how much one of them's going for? £45. I'm just trying to see. Inflatable Liam Gallagher Select magazine. I'm going to see how much, if there is. So £45 in 20 odd years. 1 second. Let's see if there's a Jarvis Cocker one. Oh, there is. Somebody's selling inflatable Jarvis Cocker. Well, the Jarvis £15 that went for. I don't know if you can see it there. I would like to get them all if I could. Oh no, it did. It wasn't. It was. I've just found the magazine. I remember the magazine now. It was a Jarvis, Keith Flint, and Liam Gallagher.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And
I was going to say, surely Justine Frischman's not quite iconic enough.
No,
really.
It was December 1996. You got one of them. So 30 years. That inflatable is 30 years old.
Can't believe it.
The air in it is 30 years old. It's kept its seal really well. I don't want to deflate it just in case it never inflates. So, but yeah, maybe if I suck in the air from it, it will euthanize me back to 1996. Do you think that's a scientific thing? Do you think that could happen?
The air
I'm going to see if I can find the rest of that and complete the collection 30 years later.
So is that Liam one you've got down there still inflated?
It's still inflated, yeah.
Is that got so that's got 1990s air inside it?
That's got 1990s air in it, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe that in
It's
itself makes it worth something.
yeah, or maybe if I let the air out, maybe all those 90s diseases will be released back into the atmosphere, and I could wipe out humanity. Could happen. But yeah, 30 years old, Phil. I've had him. 30 years old. Look at his little face. Look, there he is. So if anyone's got one in their loft they want to get rid of, they're going for £1 on eBay. So just let me know.
Only £1. Really.
Only £1. Well, £50. But we'll go for £1.
Talk about things on eBay.
Yeah. There we go.
Could help tell me whether I've been ripped off.
Oh, here we go.
Hang on.
He's been ripped off, people. Oh, here we go. What have you bought?
You know, I've decided, I don't know, why do I collect CDs, Ben? Have you any idea?
Why do I collect vinyl records? Exactly the same.
I still like, maybe it's because I like shiny things.
Maybe you're a magpie. Maybe you're a music magpie and you should open up your own online record store.
I just kind of like having
physical copy.
I do like having the physical copies. I do kind of like having these. It's a collecting thing, isn't it? I do use them.
Yeah,
in
it
ways,
makes you happy.
I do like sometimes being able to put one on and concentrate on it and not be tracked by some app while you're listening to it, and not have to use a phone or a computer, so you can get away from phones and stuff. And the thing is, now they've all become quite cheap, haven't they? If you get a used CD, you can't buy a huge range of catalogue albums now, apart from very well-known ones. Apart from maybe some record shops have still got stocks, but there's a lot of trade now, isn't there, in used ones?
Yes.
And there's some real bargains. People go on things like Music Magpie and eBay and stuff, and you can get some quite often in very good condition. Sometimes it's a little bit disappointing, but sometimes it's just because the case is cracked, so you can just change it and it looks brand new again, right? And most of the discs I've seen. Now, I'm very nerdy, as you know, so none of my discs has ever been scratched. I've got CDs that go back to the 90s, and you can look at them and they look as if they've just come out of the shop. Right?
Well, I will shock you in a minute then, Philster.
Yeah. So I've decided that at the moment I'm collecting albums by Lucinda Williams, right?
Who is also in December's issue of
Mojo.
Yeah.
So if you don't know who Lucinda Williams is, because a lot of people in Britain don't really know who she is, she's an American sort of, what is she, country Americana-y, kind of thing. She's in her 70s now, but she's been making records since the early 90s, late 80s, I think. Great songwriter. I did read an article recently, someone suggesting that she might be up there with Joni Mitchell as one of the greatest women singer-songwriters of all time. So she's worth checking out. Anyway, I got this one, which is from 2001, Essence. Nice condition, nothing wrong with that. That's great.
Yeah.
Then I also got this one, which is a double album, Down Where the Spirit Meets the Bone. Now, this isn't in bad condition. This is made, I think the artwork makes it look a bit scuffed anyway. Right?
Yeah.
So it's not actually as scuffed as it looks there, because that's actually on the photo. So this is one of these ones where you open it out, and
it's got the three-fold.
It's got a three-fold, and there's a booklet in here. I won't bother to take it out, but if you take that out, there's a booklet which is exactly a normal CD booklet, right? And then you've got the discs in each end. Now, this is...
What year is that from?
I think 2014.
2014.
So there's a tiny bit there. Look, tiny little bit of...
it.
So that's pretty good. Okay, and I can't remember how much I paid for that, but that's in nice condition. Now, the question I've got is this one, because I was also decided I'd buy her other double album.
What year?
And that is... I'm not sure what year this is. This is The Ghosts of Highway 20. Now, this is the question I've got for you. Right?
Yeah.
So I was looking online.
Trying to find it.
And they had...
2016.
Okay. So they had two variants of it online. There was the version in that cardboard fold-out style that I just showed you, or there was a version in a CD jewel case like this.
Okay.
So I thought I would buy the jewel case because it was going for a lot cheaper and it seemed to be in very good condition. And I
Do
thought,
you have the issue number? The H should be
well,
H.
we'll do that in a second. But I'm trying to show. I'm trying to show you this at the moment.
Yeah.
Right. So this is how it came. This is a double one in a jewel case. Now, when I had a good look at it, I realised that when I opened it up, the discs, by the way, are in perfect condition. There's not a scratch on them, so I'm quite pleased with it, really. And it's a standard jewel case, right?
Yeah.
But when I look at the inlay card, I can see ever so slight evidence that this has been cut with scissors. So what's happened is that someone has taken the back of one of these cardboard fold-out ones
and
trimmed it so it fits into the back of this CD case, and then on the edge you've got the album title on the edge, but you can sort of see that it's not quite designed to go in there. And on the other end, you've actually got nothing, which doesn't look terrible. But it actually looks, until you look at it very closely, it looks as if it could have been sold like this. But I paid a fair bit less for this because I think I bought this for £8, and the used copies of it in the original packaging are well over £20. It's not one that's easy to get hold of. So should I feel ripped off, or should I feel that I've got a bargain because I've got really good condition CDs?
Well, let's have a look.
I don't know what to think of that.
The cheapest one I can find is about £6. But that doesn't tell me if it's the cardboard inlay.
I think it's the cardboard. That's probably a battered cardboard inlay.
It says mint condition.
Is this on Discogs?
This is on Discogs. Yeah, I'm just trying to see if one says one doesn't say jewels. I'm wondering there, but that was in Australia. That price. I mean, there is one on there for $40 Australian dollars.
But that's going to cost quite a lot to get it over here, isn't it?
Yes, it will do. But in the United Kingdom, £9. I think they start from.
Yeah. So you see, that was by far the lowest. That was the lowest price I could get it for.
Yeah, £9 plus £2.60 postage. There is another one in mint condition, $17.99 in the UK.
$17.99. Yeah. See, I didn't think it was worth paying that much just to get a double CD. So I decided, I think I just paid £8 including the delivery. So
that's not too bad then.
But the thing is, it's fine to have in your collection and it's in great condition, but it's not really something you can then sell, is it? It's not really collectible because it's not real.
No.
It's a bit of a fake job. So it's real but fake at the same time.
Yeah, it's like you got it from a dodgy Chinese website.
Yeah, even though it is the original booklet.
Your albums and being in pristine condition. It's funny you mention that because I think it was last weekend I was walking back into the house and I've got some hedgerow at the front of my house. And I was like, oh, what's that in there? There's something glistening in there. Looked in there and I was like, oh. And what I'd done is about a month before I'd cleaned my car and I took all the stuff out and I'd rested it on top of the bush. Obviously when I picked it up, something had fallen into the bush. And it was the Streets Grand Don't Come for Free. It's the Streets
Disc got its own, basically.
Yeah, no, it was in the case and everything. But it was just lying in the bush and it had been there through all the rain, all the sort of whatever. And I managed to dry out the booklet, which is a little bit crinkly now. But I did manage to peel off the original pirate material, that's it. And I did manage to peel out the back without... because they said don't leave it to dry because otherwise it'll pull the ink off. Just wait for it to be semi-dry. I pulled out, didn't leave any residue, but it is slightly crinkly. But I tested the disc.
Crinkly.
Disc still works, and it's been in a bush for over a month. And so unlike you, Phil, I'm the opposite end of the spectrum of keeping my discs, etc., in mint condition. To be fair, the only thing which is probably in worse condition is on the bottom of the sea and came out of the Titanic. But it still plays. That's the main thing.
I have had one or two that I bought that are a little bit crinkly. So clearly, I think it's because a lot of the time people have stored their CDs. They got their CDs out of the house. They said, "Oh, we're going to go onto Spotify or whatever." They put their CDs either in a garage or a shed or something, and then the dampers got to them a bit.
Got to them, yeah.
And so therefore, and then the booklets get a little bit crinkly, and it's a bit of a shame because otherwise, the cases and the discs themselves are quite resistant to
getting
wet.
Could you iron them flat? Are they crinkly? Could you put
You could try, couldn't you?
Yeah.
You could give it a go, but I think it would be probably very difficult to get them really flat.
Yeah.
But
I think
I have rejected some on that basis because they've been described as I've sent some back, or I've got people to send me a replacement because they describe them as being in very good or excellent condition, and then it turns out they've got crinkly booklets, and I say that's not very good condition.
And nobody likes crinkly booklets, do they, Phil?
Exactly.
Especially men of our age.
Exactly.
How's your crinkly booklets? Maybe that's what we should have called this podcast, Crinkly Booklets.
Maybe it would have been, yeah.
Yeah, it would have been a good one. But I think that was a little insight. I just wanted to, go into music magazines really, and we've gone down another wormhole, which has been quite good, isn't it?
You can't beat a wormhole viewer.
You can't, not with your crinkly booklets anyway.
So do you have any thoughts on that for us, dear viewer? Let us know in the comments down there. In the meantime, we will return with more music ramblings and, of course, albums of the 2000s.
And more Gary Barlow's jumpers, probably.
Absolutely. Join us then. Bye for now.